I was at the pharmacy self-checkout. Pharmacy side, that is, self-checkout. And I was kind of curious. You know, I know Lauren Faust kind of had her own take, well, not her own take, but kind of had her own, I guess you could say her own take on how she feels about Equestria Girls. And even though it's been like, what now, 4 or 5 years since Equestria Girls came into existence, that in a way it's still kind of trying to find its footing. I mean, we know it's connected to My Little Pony. Heck, it's called My Little Pony Equestria Girls. But it's almost like, in a sense, that, well, it's still, like I said, it's still trying to find its footing. And what's crazy about Equestria Girls and Friendship is Magic is, with the occasional special or movie here and there, we don't really see any kind of true connection. You know, we don't see any true connections, if you will. I mean, obviously both worlds know of each other's existence, because the common barrier or connector or connection between both worlds is Sunset Shimmer. I mean, Sunset Shimmer is basically a pony living her life as a human right now. That's the only connection. That Sunset Shimmer that we see in Equestria Girls is in reality a pony that's just living her life as a teenager or junior or senior in high school. But here's the funny thing. Even though it's pretty much acknowledged that both worlds know about each other, when it comes to both shows, if you will, we don't ever hear any kind of real acknowledgement as much as we should. You know, like I said, with the occasional movie and special here and there, we don't hear about any acknowledgement of either show or the existence of either world. You know, Friendship is Magic has gone on is on its 8th season, and 5 out of those 8 seasons, Equestria Girls has been in existence alongside it, except we've never heard any acknowledgement in the show of the existence of Equestria Girls. We've not heard of any we've not heard Twilight or Starlight or even Celestia or Luna or even Cadence acknowledge the existence of the Equestria Girls world. We've not seen it. And then on the other end of things, when it comes to a lot of these shorts, including even maybe 1 or 2 movies, mostly I think the more recent movie, Legend of Everfree, we don't hear or have any acknowledgement of the Friendship is Magic world. So the question is, if Lauren Faust was, well, again, like I said, Lauren Faust has given her own take and her own reasoning as to how she feels about Equestria Girls. She has basically gone on record and said in her own way that she believes it's something that should have never happened. Why? Quite possibly the reason I think a lot of us kind of feel. And that is, Equestria Girls barely gets acknowledged in Friendship is Magic. I mean, let's take a look at this, for example. Let's take a look. I think the way Lauren Faust looks at this is she probably really doesn't have a problem with Equestria Girls existing as part of the MLP FIM franchise. She probably doesn't. She probably doesn't have a problem with that, if you know what I mean. She probably doesn't have a problem. But I think the reason, though, she feels the way she does about it is because, one, like a lot of people thought at the time and still do kind of, it was basically created not as a way to expand the Generation 4 world and landscape, but to also, in a sense, capitalize on the success that other lines like Monster High and Ever After High and all of them were having. Pretty much capitalize on those successes. But the other reason I think she felt the way she does about Equestria Girls and feeling that it was not necessary when it began is basically there's no acknowledgement of it in Friendship is Magic. I think Lauren Faust looks at the fact that if she was, she's not said this, but I get this feeling, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, but we all get this feeling in interpretation that Lauren Faust, like I said, doesn't have a problem really with Equestria Girls, especially if it's to help expand the G4 universe. But I think the problem she has is it's not being referenced. And Lauren Faust probably feels that if she was around still working on MLP and Equestria Girls was made, or basically this is what I think, my opinion, and I'm sure others may or may not agree. Lauren Faust probably feels that if she'd still been around by the I believe, my honest opinion, sorry, let me hold on. Alright, sorry about that. But basically, I believe, in my opinion, I'm sure others would agree, that if Lauren Faust was around when Equestria Girls was created, that she would want to make sure that Friendship is Magic, in which it would be spun off from, would acknowledge it once in a while. Like, have certain episodes of Friendship is Magic, even up to the current season, acknowledge Equestria Girls, reference it, mention Sunset Shimmer, mention Canterlot High, mention the human versions of the main six, or main seven, if you will. Lauren Faust, I believe, would have basically made sure that Equestria Girls was acknowledged every once in a while in Friendship is Magic, had she been around still with the show when Equestria Girls was made. Now, if Lauren Faust was still around when Equestria Girls was made, would the same go for Equestria Girls acknowledging Friendship is Magic? Absolutely. I believe Lauren Faust, honestly, would have made sure that both ends of the spectrum acknowledged each other's existence. That you didn't just save it for movies and specials, that instead you utilized it by saying, let's acknowledge it in this episode or in this short. Let's have this 11-minute short acknowledge the Friendship is Magic world. Let's let this episode of Friendship is Magic acknowledge the Equestria Girls world. Back and forth. Basically, Lauren Faust would found a way. I'm not trying to kiss up to Lauren Faust. I'm just saying what I believe she probably would have done had she still been around when Equestria Girls was made and had some say in it. She probably would have made sure that if this was going to be done, that basically both shows, both franchises, if you will, acknowledged the other's existence and didn't just wait until having a movie or a special occur to do so. I know it sounds like I'm rambling and it's a little confusing, but I think, honestly, that's what Lauren Faust would have made sure was done, because when you think about it, when it comes to the episodes, of Friendship is Magic, even up to the current season, in the past 5 years that Equestria Girls been around alongside it, that when you think about it, not once in Friendship is Magic did we get acknowledgement of the Equestria Girls world. Not once. Nor, with the exception of a few movies here and there, did we ever get acknowledgement in the animated shorts of the YouTube digital series, and even maybe the movie like Legend of Everfree and all that. Did we get an acknowledgement of the Friendship is Magic world? The only reference I think somebody said that was mentioned in the recent roller coaster of friendship was during that little mini game that Sunset and Twilight were playing, and Sunset commenting that while she's getting frustrated trying to win that ring toss game or whatever it was, I think it was a ring toss game, that this is one of the times she wishes she still had hoofs. So that's the only other acknowledgement. So that's the only closest acknowledgement we've had to Friendship is Magic and Equestria Girls in the recent special. But my point is this. In my opinion, I believe Lauren Faust, had she still been working on My Little Pony Friendship is Magic when Equestria Girls was made, and she had some kind of say in what was going to go on between both franchises, well, at least the main franchise and the spin-off, she would have basically made sure, in my opinion, and this is not me kissing up, I think anybody else would agree with this, she would have made sure that both acknowledged the other's existence. That they didn't acknowledge it when the plot called for it. They didn't acknowledge it when the plot called for it, and so on. She would have made sure they acknowledged the other's existence some way, somehow, every now and then, throughout many of the episodes of Friendship is Magic and many of the animated short episodes of Equestria Girls. She would have made sure, like I said, that basically both shows acknowledge the other's existence. But, you know, that's just my opinion. Like I said, and I think we all know, Lauren Faust, even though she might respect the idea of expanding on the G4 world of MLP, Lauren Faust made it clear that she wasn't too particularly fond of this whole Equestria Girls deal, because basically that's not what the original intent was to begin with. And I think the reason Lauren Faust felt that way was the same reason a lot of us felt that way. It was basically Hasbro's way to cash in on the whole Monster High, Ever After High phenomenon that was selling in the toy stores. That was the only reason. So, in my opinion, honestly, if Lauren Faust was still around, and maybe you can and cannot agree with this, she probably would have made sure both shows acknowledged their existence every once in a while, and didn't just wait for a movie or a special to do so, especially if that movie or special was only based on one franchise, that being Equestria Girls. So, that's just my theory on it, my thought on what I think Lauren Faust would have done had she still been around when Equestria Girls was made. Because when you think about it, we know both, as fans, we know both worlds are connected to each other. We both know both worlds acknowledge each other's existence. We both know they're within somewhat the same continuity. But the problem is, ladies and gentlemen, we don't ever get that much of a reference on either side of the spectrum, with the occasional movie or special when it comes to Equestria Girls. So, again, my honest opinion on the whole situation is I think if Lauren Faust was still around, she would make sure she would have made sure, no doubt, if she was still around when Equestria Girls was made and had some kind of say in the matter on both ends, she probably would have made sure both shows acknowledged each other's existence more than just when it called for it, like with a movie and all that. Basically, every now and then, within the episodes and shorts. So, but that's all I'm really going to say, guys. I gotta head back into work. Oh, I have to head back into work and probably help out gathering carts, possibly, because both I and the cart pusher were out at lunch at the same time. So let me know what you guys think, though, down below. Comment if you like. What are your thoughts on my theory, and do you agree with it or not? And I'll talk to y'all later.